Welcome to the deep dive. The world of Tesla just keeps spinning, doesn't it?
It really does.
One minute it's a groundbreaking innovation, the next it's navigating some pretty serious bumps in the road.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've waded through the recent wave of Tesla news, earnings calls, software updates, market trends, basically to bring you the crucial insights.
Exactly. Think of this as your shortcut.
Our goal here is really to extract the signal from all that noise, giving you a clearer picture of Tesla's current trajectory and, well, the key factors shaping its future.
We're going to try and connect the dots, between the headlines and what's actually happening underneath.
Okay, and let's dive straight into something a lot of you have been asking about. The timeline for Tesla's more affordable electric vehicle.
Right, the big one.
Their Q1 2025 earnings call gave us a crucial update. Looks like we're still on track for the first half of next year.
Yeah, it's the message, with potential production kicking off maybe as early as June 2025.
That's a pretty big piece of the puzzle for them.
It is, and what's particularly interesting, I think, is the strategy they're using for this new model.
How so?
Well, instead of a completely new design, like from the ground up, and a whole new manufacturing process, they're actually blending aspects of their next-gen platform with the tried and tested strengths of the Model 3 and Y.
Okay, so sort of a hybrid approach.
Exactly. But they did confirm that the innovative unboxed assembly method that won't be used for this vehicle, at least not initially.
Right. Which suggests maybe a focus on just getting this vital, more accessible model out the door efficiently.
That seems to be the priority, get it to market.
Makes sense. Okay, so speaking of efficiency and continuous improvement, let's shift gears to the software side.
Right.
Tesla recently rolled out software update 2025.1.4 and 0.3.1. What are the kind of highlights for the user there?
Well, this update has some genuinely useful features. The adaptive headlights, for instance. They should really help with nighttime driving safety. And integrating the blind spot camera view right onto the driver's screen. That's another smart safety improvement.
Yeah, I like that one.
And for people who want more control over their routes, there are new alternative trip plans and an avoid highways option. So more flexibility there.
Welcome additions.
Definitely. And they've also enhanced the Dashcam and the Dashcam viewer. Makes recording and looking back at footage much easier, more user-friendly.
So these incremental updates, they really add up over time for the ownership experience.
They absolutely do.
But it's not just the headline features, is it? Tesla often slips in some less publicized tweaks, too.
That's right. The 2025.8 update, for example, had several undocumented changes.
Oh, like what?
Things like small refinements to the maps, the trip meters, and even a bit of fun with the Rainbow Road feature coming back in a slightly different way.
Huh. Okay.
These might not be, front page news, but they all contribute to a more polished feel.
Right. The little details matter. Now, for those of us curious about the hardware side, there's been some chat around the B-pillar Sentry Mode recording.
Yes.
It's not just about having the newer Ryzen chip, is it?
No, that's a really critical distinction. The Ryzen processor is part of it in the newer cars, sure. But for that B-pillar recording, you need the full hardware 4 suite, HW4.
Okay.
It's not just a processor upgrade. HW4 includes newer, more advanced cameras, better sensors, higher resolution, wider views. All that stuff is crucial for enabling features like the more comprehensive Sentry Mode.
Got it. So Ryzen alone isn't enough. You need the whole package.
Exactly. The complete HW4 setup is necessary. It's important for owners to understand what their specific car can and can't do.
Good clarification. The Tesla mobile app also got an update recently, didn't it?
Yes, version 4.44.1. These app updates, they often don't list every single change.
Right.
But typically they include bug fixes, performance improvements, basically making sure the connection between your phone and your Tesla is smooth and reliable.
Standard stuff, mostly. And there's another software fix update 2025.1.6, I think. It addressed something about efficiency when the car's parked.
Correct. That update included a fix for the telematics control unit, the TCU.
The TCU, that's the car's communication hub, basically.
Pretty much. Handles internet connection, remote access, software updates, all that. There was a glitch in some cases where the TCU was preventing cars from properly going into sleep mode.
So like leaving your phone running constantly in the background.
Exactly. Unnecessary energy drain. So this fix addresses that, showing they're paying attention to optimizing efficiency even when parked.
It's also interesting to see Tesla seemingly exploring features based more directly on user feedback, like lumbar support linked to profiles.
Yeah, and the potential return of a turn signal stalk.
Right.
What's fascinating here is that it looks like they're responding to their customers. Linking lumbar settings to driver profiles, that would be super convenient for families sharing a car. And maybe offering a turn signal stock retrofit for the newer models without them. That suggests they might be willing to, address owner preferences, even if it means deviating a bit from that ultra-minimalist design.
So listening to real-world feedback?
It implies they are, yeah. Considering practical solutions.
Okay, let's pivot now. The financial landscape. The Q1 2025 earnings report. It presented a, let's say, complex picture.
Complex is a good word. Yeah, the results showed some pretty significant shifts.
What?
Automotive sales saw a 20% decrease, dropped to about $14 billion.
Oof.
Net income took a huge hit, down 71% to $409 million.
Wow.
And overall revenue declined by 9%, landing at $19.3 billion.
Okay, and the earnings per share?
Adjusted EPS came in at $1.27. The expectation was more like $0.39, so a miss there too.
Right. Those figures clearly show the headwinds Tesla faced in Q1.
No doubt about it.
And those headwinds seem particularly strong in Europe. Some of those sales drops in April were dramatic.
They really were. The April figures for Europe paint a stark picture. Sweden down 81%.
81.
Yeah. Netherlands down 74%. Denmark 67%. France 59%. These are substantial drops.
And it's not just one bad month, is it?
No, that's the concerning part. It marks the 4th consecutive month of declining sales in Europe for Tesla.
So what's behind that? Competition.
That's definitely part of it. Increased competition, especially from European and Chinese EV makers. But there's also the factor of the ongoing protests related to Elon Musk.
Right, his public profile and political stuff.
It seems to be affecting consumer sentiment in that region. This downturn isn't just about other cars being available.
It feels like more than that.
It could signal a shift in consumer sentiment, maybe towards local brands, maybe influenced by price, politics, maybe even some nationalism.
Interesting. So Tesla might need to rethink its strategy specifically for Europe, not just a global approach.
Could be. They might need to adjust pricing, marketing, tailor it more.
Okay. And what about China, another critical market, also seeing pressure?
Yes, even with new models out and offering 0% financing.
Which you'd think would help.
Right. But Tesla still saw a 7% year-over-year sales decrease in China for April. And that's especially notable because many other Chinese EV manufacturers reported significant growth in the same period.
Ouch. That really highlights the competition over there.
It's intense.
Yeah.
And it's evolving really, really rapidly in China right now.
Okay, but Tesla's impact isn't just cars, obviously. Let's talk energy. The Megapack battery storage system.
Yeah.
That continues to be important.
Oh, absolutely. The Megapack system is like a cornerstone of Tesla's bigger vision for sustainable energy.
How so? What role does it play?
Well, it's crucial for grid stability, providing large-scale energy storage.
Choking up renewables.
Exactly. It helps integrate intermittent sources like solar and wind more effectively, and it helps manage peak demand on the grid.
Right.
We're seeing more and more Megapack deployments, which shows its growing importance for data centers, utilities, the whole clean energy transition. And
tied into that is their battery cell production, the 3680 cells. Progress there seems significant too.
Indeed. Their progress manufacturing the 4680s is definitely noteworthy. They're reporting their lowest cost per kilowatt hour to date with these cells.
Which is huge for lowering vehicle costs.
And energy storage product costs too. They're using them in both. It underlines their whole focus on vertical integration and getting those costs down.
So the lower cost is key, but is there more to the 4680s?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
They're larger size, maybe different chemistry. It could unlock better energy density, faster charging speeds down the line. If they can scale production reliably, that could be a real technological edge.
Interesting. Okay. We also got an update on the Tesla Semi recently. It sounds like they're making some headway in the electric truck world.
Yeah, the Semi keynote gave a pretty good overview. They talked about new features, an upgraded battery, better range, better performance, and expanding the charging network specifically for the Semi. 46 new sites.
46.
Okay. Kind of showed a video of it in action. Real-world commercial stuff. Suggests they're moving steadily towards wider use in the trucking industry.
Okay, good progress there. Now, shifting to corporate news, that Wall Street Journal report about the board maybe considering Musk's role, that certainly made waves.
Oh, yeah, that got a lot of attention. The claim that the board discussed potentially replacing Elon Musk as CEO.
But Tesla denied it pretty quickly.
Very quickly. Issued a strong denial, reaffirmed Musk is staying, called the report basically unfounded speculation.
Just highlights the intense scrutiny, I guess.
Exactly, on both Musk and the company itself.
On a different corporate note, board member Joe Gebbia upped his stake in Tesla.
He did. Bought another 4,000 shares.
He's the Airbnb co-founder, right?
Yeah.
On the board since 2022.
That's him. Now holds over 4,100 shares worth about $1.1 million or so. His background is interesting. Successful tech founder, but also his recent alignment with Donald Trump, volunteering for Musk's DOGE project.
The Department of Government Efficiency, right.
Yeah, it adds this interesting layer, mixing business, tech, and politics within the Tesla board story.
Unfortunately, Tesla's also been dealing with some less positive external stuff, vandalism incidents.
Sadly, yes. That arson incident with a newly delivered Cybertruck in Arizona. That's really disturbing.
And it seems linked to broader anti-Tesla sentiment.
It appears connected to a pattern of vandalism targeting Tesla properties, seemingly tied to protests against Elon Musk's political views. Stark reminder that, public image and leadership opinions can have real, tangible negative impacts.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of the Cybertruck, it already had a recall, didn't it?
That's correct. Nearly 46,000 were recalled. An issue with the trim panel that could detach.
Highlights maybe some ongoing quality control challenges, especially with a complex new vehicle like that.
It does. And it's worth noting, this was the 8th recall for Tesla since just January 2024.
8th. Wow. That does raise some questions about consistency, especially with new launches.
Yeah, that pattern in a short time. It invites scrutiny on their production processes and could impact consumer confidence long term.
And these protests seem part of this Tesla takedown movement. What's the latest there?
Yeah, that movement does seem to be gaining some traction. We're seeing more protest activity at showrooms.
Peaceful, or?
It's ranged from peaceful demonstrations to more concerning things like finding incendiary devices at an Austin dealership.
Gosh.
So this sustained, sometimes aggressive opposition.
Yeah.
It just underlines the challenges Tesla faces with public perception among certain groups.
And all these factors, the financials, the competition, the controversies, seem to be affecting the stock price and market sentiment. Analysts revising forecasts.
We've definitely seen volatility. There was that 7.3% stock drop to around $252 after a brief rise. And yes, several analysts have adjusted their views. Wedbush, notably, cut their price target quite significantly from $550 down to $315.
Big cut.
Reflects a more cautious outlook on the near term, given all these headwinds we've discussed.
And one more layer of complexity. Suspending orders for some models in China.
That's right. Reports say they've temporarily suspended orders for the U.S.-made Model S and Model X in China.
Why's that?
It's not entirely clear, but it highlights the tricky dynamics of international trade, market strategies, especially in a huge market like China. Could be about production priorities, import rules, maybe just demand for those specific high-end models there. Lots of possibilities.
Okay. So we've navigated through all these recent developments, software, financials, energy, market pressures. What's your overall takeaway as we look ahead?
Well, despite all the challenges we've covered, the Q1 earnings announcement back on April 22nd, it did offer some hints of potential stabilization coming up.
How so?
The expected launch of the more affordable EV is key. The ongoing work on Robotaxi tech, with that update planned for June 2025.
Right, the Robotaxi unveil.
And the continued growth in the energy division, those are big drivers for optimism. Plus, having factories spread out globally gives them some resilience against, economic or political shocks in one region.
So this deep dive, it really paints a picture of a company in constant motion, pushing tech boundaries while grappling with some pretty significant pressures both inside and out.
Absolutely. It's a really compelling case study. A pioneer navigating a very complex, fast-changing world.
Okay, so considering this intricate balance, the tech advancements versus the market challenges, what do you see as the single biggest hurdle Tesla needs to clear in the next year to really maintain that pioneering status?
That's a tough one. I'd argue the biggest hurdle is effectively balancing their, let's say, ambitious innovation with consistent operational execution and, crucially, managing public perception.
So doing it all at once.
Pretty much. They need to keep pushing the tech envelope while addressing the quality control issues we talked about, while optimizing production, and working to rebuild or maintain trust with consumers amidst all the noise around leadership. It's a tall order.
That's definitely a lot for them and for us to consider. If you want to explore these topics further, maybe think about the long-term impact of Tesla's changing strategy in Europe, or just how much Megapack could reshape our energy future. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.